Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of the Knitting Texan podcast. My name is Rin, and I am the Knitting Texan. I come to you from a small town in Central Texas, where I am from and where I live with my family. This is episode 3, where we actually have made it. We have a Ravelry group for the podcast now. The only thread in it right now is just for introductions, just so you can introduce yourself. You can answer tell us as much as you want or as little as you want. I just want to get to know you guys. Thank you to everyone that has joined. I have noticed a lot of new viewers, which is super exciting. I thought it would take a lot longer than it has, so that's just really shocking to me because I'm not on social media. I'll so thank you for watching, and thank you if you're returning. I'll For everything I talk about in this episode, I will try to remember to link in the description box below. So let's move on to finished objects. And I have a couple actually this time, which is pretty crazy for me or in my mind. So my first finished object, have to reach way over here, is my Batman socks. I've finished them, which I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to, but because like I said, my from summer sock camp, I knit so many socks, and then I lost my knitting mojo like halfway through, my sock mojo halfway through, and then it got even worse when I didn't win anything from summer sock camp. So it was just kind of a bummer. But I think I'm starting to get it back just slowly. So yeah, these are just vanilla socks. I added an extra little tab at the back because I like socks like that. Those are how my commercial socks are. So these are my Batman socks. They are in Yarn Bee Cozy Toes in the crisp cobalt colorway. I added, like I said, I added a little extra bit. These are knit in Chalgu double points in a US size 1. So yeah, new pair of socks added to my collection of socks. So finished object number 2 is my Muscleburg hat, which last episode, this was just a whip. It was just like a little, I think it was like right about here somewhere. But yeah, I finished it. And at that point, I wasn't sure if I was going to do the stripes or not with this self-striping. And I decided to do the self-striping, which actually turned out really cool, I think. As you can see there, it doesn't really stripe evenly, but it kind of like spirals up the hat where there are two lines, where there are two rows of that color. So yeah, it's really cool because it's got like really put this guy back together. It's got this really cool um striped part of it, more fun side of it. So it's got like this normal gray hat, and then it's got the fun stripes, which I've got both dogs in this room today. And so if you hear doggy noises, that's them. I have two dogs. One of them's a Havanese, so he's kind of like a, what are those called? Now my mind blanks. Kind of like a Shih Tzu, but kind of not. And then I have a Jack Russell. So if you hear those two dogs running around, that's who they are. And then this is the other side. This is the self-striping side. And you saw the yarn in a sock. And it looks kind of weird because I blocked it and it's got like hard crease lines. I should try and block it on a balloon or something. But yeah. But when you fold it up, because it's of how I did it, where the gray is longer, it folds up and it's a gray brim. So I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool. And the other side, it has a striped brim, I think. I haven't really folded up the other side. Yeah, it's got kind of a striped brim. So yeah, that's my second Musselburg, and definitely not my last one. I really enjoy these hats because you can take any yarn and you can turn it into this really cool hat that's got a really cool story behind it. Because I don't know if you've heard it before, but these types of hats were used in World War II because they're a long tube, and so they're double thick, so they're warm, but you can also use them as like a, and I have my earbuds in again. But you can use them as like a scarf kind of deal. And so I think that's really cool that it's like this multi-purpose hat. And so yeah, it turns into my favorite kind of hat, which is a beanie without the ribbing. I personally, when I think of a hat, I don't think of a hat with ribbing like what you have in typical hat patterns. So yeah, that's finished object number 2. Finished object number 3, yes, I have 3 finished objects, is one that you have not seen at all before. Haven't seen at all or ever before, because I cast this on in between. So I was a part of the Across the Pond Shawl Cow by Little Monkeys and Me and Ruth Loves to Knit, I believe. And I was just doing the Ravelry side of it, because I'm pretty sure you could also post on Instagram, but I'm not on Instagram, so I didn't post on Instagram. But so I made another fluffy thing, and I haven't cut the ends. Surprise, surprise. So I made a fluffy shawl. A, a fluffy shawl in between the 2 weeks that I didn't podcast. And this one's kind of interesting because I tried, so usually when I knit stuff and I weave in as I go, but I use the Skenanigans tutorial for that for the Northeasterly. But this one I actually tried the Weave and Steven up here. And I'm still not sold on this one. This one takes a lot more time, in my opinion, and it's a lot more awkward. See, this one is a lot faster. Maybe it's just I'm more used to it now. But to me, this one's kind of overkill. So what it does is you take your end and you wrap it around your working yarn. Every time you knit a stitch, you wrap it. And so to me, yeah, that's more stable, but to me, it takes a lot more time. And honestly, it kind of looks a little better, I guess. But I think I'm going to stick to the one that I've been using. Nothing against the method or Stephen West, but I prefer this method. It's faster for me. But anyways, really cool, really drapey, fluffy shawl. So that's finished object number 3. Oh, this was in... I'm not very... This was in Yarn Bee Forever Style. And the white was a leftover I had from a hat I made. And then this was the gray I had left over from when I made the bandana cow. And I actually have quite a bit left, if I remember right. Also, about this one, this has a funny story. I was knitting along and I was like, yeah, this probably needs to be longer. And then I weigh my yarn and I have like 10 grams left. And I'm like, is that going to be enough to close it up? It was just enough. I think I have like less than a gram left of the striped. So, I mean, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. I could have just ended it in the gray, but still, I thought it was pretty satisfying that I used all of that self-striping, like literally all of it. So yeah, that's finished object number 3. And so finished object number 4, and this one's kind of not a surprise because I showed you this last time and I was basically done with it last time. And that is my Scrappy Shawl, which turned out a lot, and it looks weird because it's been folded for like 2 weeks, but it actually turned out a lot better than I was expecting. And you can see better pictures of this on my Ravelry. And yes, I have not trimmed the ends. They are woven in, but I have not trimmed them. It's also been blocked, but you can't tell that because it's been full for 2 weeks. So you can see better pictures of this on my Ravelry, but it actually turned out really, really good. I'm actually very impressed with it, and I also really like it. So it turned out a lot better than I was expecting. And again, I entered this in the Across the Pond Shawl Cow. And so yeah, this was made with a bunch of different scraps. We'd be here a while if I told you all the different yarns that's in this thing. Like this never-ending tabby cat yarn that I have from Hobby Lobby. But yeah, I think it turned out great. And honestly, it's kind of a great shawl for Texas because it's got wool in it, but it's also got cotton. Like this is cotton, and it's also got acrylic. This is acrylic, and then wool. See, like this is wool, this is cotton. it's got all different kinds of yarn in it. So this is finished object number 4. So moving on to whips. So I basically finished all of my whips except for one, and that is my Aggie Poncho, which I did get quite a bit of work on it done, and it is in my Fox bag. So this is how much I've gotten done over the last 2 weeks. So as you can see here, this maroon part here was where I was last time, basically. And so I've done about 2 inches on it, which is nice. And I'm just plugging away. Most of the time when I do this, it's when I'm sitting in the car and I'm not driving, which is rare. It's rare nowadays. Most of the time when we're going somewhere, I'm the one driving, unless it's like a family venture. Um, so, next whip is Muscleburg, and this is in this makeup case. And this was given to me by my grandmother, and honestly, this is probably still my favorite project bag. It's my first and probably still my favorite project bag because it's waterproof, but it also kind of stands up on its own. And then when you're pulling stuff out of it, because this whole top comes off, you just kind of pull the top down and then there's your yarn, and it just kind of pulls straight out so it doesn't get caught in the zipper. Like, so much so that before I had these zipper bags, I would hear podcasters say, "Oh, I don't really like zipper bags because sometimes the yarn gets caught in the zipper." And I'm like, what? I don't have that problem, and I have a zipper. It turns out it's because now I get that problem sometimes or I can see where they have that problem because when you open a bag, it tends to be like this. And so when you're pulling stuff out, it like pulls on the edge. So, but like this is just wide open, so it's not going to have that problem. So yeah. This is whip number 2, and it's my only other whip, and that is a Muscleburg. Surprise! And I am almost done with the increases on this. So this is one of my special skeins. This is one of the ones that I've been saving for the perfect project, and this is it apparently. So this is lolodidit and Hippo for Hanukkah, and I love this colorway. I still love it just being knit up because I love the blues and the yellow, and I like the soft gray in it. I love this yarn. And the cake is huge because this was the first thing I caked up after I got my ball winder and Swift, but it was too tight, and I heard people saying that if you do that, it actually damages your yarn and it actually makes it act weird. So I rescanned it or recaked it, and this time I did it super loose, and so now it's like this humongous cake. I know it's hard for you to tell how big it is, but it is usually a 100-gram cake is like right about there. So it's like it's huge and it's squishy because it's super loose, and you can kind of see how loose it is. But I didn't want this cake to end up really wonky. So I am knitting them on bleh. I'm knitting this hat on DPNs right now because I'm still working on the increases. And I have it on a Chowgu size 2 DPNs. So yeah, that's where this hat is, and pretty soon I'll be transferring it to a circular needle so I can just go in the round. And then I will have a really cool hat for myself. And so yeah, that's all my whips. So let's move on to future cast ons. And I only have one in the foreseeable, oh my gosh, my words. Foreseeable future is a Muscleburg hat. Surprise. Because I was knitting this Muscleburg here that I just finished, and my dad has this hat that he's worn for like 5 years. This is the hat. And it's held up really well considering it's just like a cheap Walmart, I'm pretty sure it was Walmart hat. It's held up pretty well, but I want to give him a nicer hat. It's kind of driving me crazy. Also it's kind of falling apart at the seams up here. I don't know if you can see, but in one of the parts it's coming off. Right there. You can kind of see it's coming apart. Also, he doesn't like this. I wouldn't, but this is partially why I didn't wear hats before, but because of this thing. Like, this is hard because it's the seam where they cut it and then they sewed it together really whoa, really bad. Really bad to the point where it like gets on your head and it hurts sometimes. Also, it's not long enough. He like tries to fold it up and it's got like this tiniest little brim, and because he's got a big head, and where I got it from. So, I'm gonna knit him a Muscleburg, but what I want to knit it out of for him is the Texas A&M Aggies, and then lolodidit's Folsom, which is like this really really dark charcoal gray, which I think will be really cool. So like the outside will, well, one side will be the Aggie colorway, and then the other side will be like this dark gray. And so I think that would be really cool, and we'll replace this guy because this guy is well deserved of retirement. I mean, it doesn't look that bad on camera, but it's pretty old. So yeah, that is future cast ons. The future cast ons. So I actually have happy mail. What? I am I am such a tiny podcaster and I already have happy mail. What? So one of my subscribers reached out to me and said that she wanted to send me a package. And which was so sweet. She totally didn't have to do it, but she was so incredibly sweet for sending it to me. And I am so excited about it. As you can tell, I am so speechless about this. I opened this box and I was literally so excited. I didn't care what was in the box. I was just, somebody wants to send me yarn? What? So, she sent me this really amazing box that was full of Hobby Lobby yarn, which is something that I've talked about before that I love. And so it was super duper sweet. And I'm going to show you some of the things she sent me. It's not all of the things because some of the things have made their way into my stash and into my tools and all that kind of stuff. And so, so yeah, I'm gonna show you some fun stuff. So, the first thing she gave me are these. And you should recognize these if you've been watching for a while, because this is the exact yarn that I knit, well, now they're buried, but my Batman socks out of. And so I think it's really cool because when I bought my Batman stuff, so let's back up a little bit. So at the beginning of, or kind of mid-summer, so like June, July, Hobby Lobby put all of their cozy toes on like super duper sale because they were changing out the colorways and getting new colorways. And so I was like, I really like this stuff. So I bought all of it. Now, granted, they were like, this says $4.99 on it. I know you can't see it because it's backwards, but it was $4.99 before, but on the price tag it was like $1.24. So it was like $1 a ball, which I can get a pair of socks out of a ball. Like that, those Batman socks only took one of these. But anyways, when I went to the counter and she started counting them, I got distracted, and it turns out that she had miscounted and charged me for one extra. So I think it's really cool because I was telling my mom, I was like, it's really cool because I got the one from my socks back, and I got the one that Hobby Lobby overcharged me for back. And so yeah, I thought that was really cool, and it's super sweet. And thank you so much, because I just love this stuff. I can't wait to make more socks out of these. And so other things she sent me needles, which, oh my gosh, she sent me needles. And so this, I know it says Chowgoo, but I love the Chowgoo cases. I think I love the Chowgoo cases. And so in this case, obviously it's not a red lace case. It's the additional interchangeable. You can tell by this ribbon because most of the time the Chowgoo have this red. This is my DPN set. And this is, they usually have this red. Because that's their colors is white, black, and red. And so, anyways, it's got this white, so you know it's the extra one. So in here are all of my Knitter's Pride. And as you can see, she sent me these. She sent me these beautiful ones, which I forget what they were called actually, but they're so pretty. Like so pretty. I've never seen these sets before because I thought the pretty sets were the dreams. But these are like so much more colorful. You see? Oh my gosh, I love these things. They're so pretty. She sent me 3 different needle sizes. She sent me a US 7 and a US 10.5 and a US 10. So I am so excited about that. Again, she totally didn't have to send me stuff, but I'll take it. I shall take it. And so she said that I could save some of them for a giveaway, and I'm sorry, but my first package, it's free. You can call me selfish, but it's my first package as a podcaster. And so I'm gonna keep it. So I can typically so I was thinking about this the other day is I used to not like Knitter's Pride needles very much. Because I preferred my Chalgu needles or I preferred others. They just felt weird. They felt draggy, too draggy. And so what I did is this is the wood butter I got, and it's the bearded chef wood butter. And there's actually an organic version of it, and basically all it is a big tin of wood butter. And so what you do is uh what I do with the Knitter's Pride is I put a whole bunch of it, not like to the point where it's ridiculous, but I put a generous amount on it and I let the needle sit out for 24 hours with the butter on it. Not wiping off the extra, but the chunky on it. And then for 24 hours I let that sit. And then I gently just kind of wipe them off, like all the extra bumps and clumps off of them. And then they're super smooth and you can kind of still feel the oil on them for the first couple times, but then it clears off and you're fine. And of course, when you block your stuff, it's going to come out. And also, I mean, it couldn't be that bad for your hands, right? Because it's basically moisturizer. So anyways, I wanted to make that little side note in case some of you guys may be having trouble with Knitter's Pride, don't like Knitter's Pride very much. You can do that little trick and maybe Knitter's Pride will become more friendly to you, I guess. So she also sent me this Yarn Bee Chloe, and unfortunately the tag's a little messed up. But this Yarn Bee Chloe, and I've been wanting to try this stuff because I've been seeing it everywhere, and you see this pretty color she sent me. So pretty. And I think I might be knitting my mom a hat. I'm knitting everybody a hat. I might be knitting my mom a hat out of this. I don't know yet, though. I've also been thinking of making the night shift. Not the night shift. The shift. The cowl version. The small version, not the huge shawl or the sweater. But I think this would be a cool color in the cowl. So yeah, this is a wool viscose blend. And it's not very tightly spun, as you can see there. It's got like this crazy halo on it, and it kind of looks messy a bit, but I'm okay with it. She also sent me this leftover of white, which is awesome because I was going to be making something. So I have this exact yarn. I'm pretty sure this is Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek. I'm pretty sure. This is blowing out really bad, but Soft and Sleek. And so I have these two colors in the same yarn, and I was going to use these two to make a color work, but in my mind the cream it's really hard for you to tell because again it's blowing out. But this is very yellowy cream, like very yellowy. And it's hard for it looks white, but I promise you it's like really yellow. It's like a really light butter yellow. It's basically what the cream looks like. And so I didn't like the idea of putting it with this green. So I like the white better, and so I'm gonna make probably a cowl or something with these two. We shall see. So yeah, that seems to be everything. I talked super fast, obviously, because I kept on messing up. But yeah. So thank you guys so incredibly much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any recommendations for the Chloe yarn or for the Cozy Toes even. I'm open. I may end up knitting a Muscleburg with one of those because that tends to be what I'm knitting everything into now. So yeah. Thank you guys so incredibly much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.